Will you please welcome Mr. Tony Curtis, ladies and gentlemen.
Hooray for Hollywood, Scooby Hollywood, Hollywood, where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic. Hooray for Hollywood.
John, thank you. How lovely to have you. I'm sorry to be late. That's okay. Mr. Tony Curtis, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for the T-shirt.
Of course. Who else? Let me lead you this way. This is the way forward.
Yeah.
Mind that step. Come stand there.
I'm all right.
One step there. And we're up.
Hello.
Tony Curtis, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the weight.
I had pneumonia about a year ago, and I was in the hospital for a while, and I lost the use of my legs. I thought it was going to be permanent, but it wasn't. It's just that because I didn't use them. So I'm getting my molars back again, and look, I can walk. I can walk like this.
Well, let's take it easy. We don't want to go too...
Jonathan, I'm so happy to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Oh, you work hard, don't you?
Probably harder than I need to. It's my own fault.
Yes, you know? Yes.
How great to have Tony Curtis with us, isn't
Thank
it?
you.
Thank you for joining us over here.
Please, it's my pleasure.
It's fabulous to have you. I've been a fan of yours just about since I think the first time I remember watching movies. So many fine films you've been in, and we just saw a clip, of course, from one of the finest.
Yes, thanks.
Some Like It Hot, Billy Wilder. What an experience. I don't think there's a red-blooded man on the planet who isn't jealous that you snug up to Marilyn Monroe in that movie. That must be one of the things that people ask you about
That
most
was.
often.
She was a unique woman. But the town was loaded with very interesting and unique people, all wanting to get in the movies.
Yeah.
Everybody. There was some magic way that led you to it.
To Hollywood.
When I was in the Navy, I was a signalman. And I was in Yokohama, Japan, and they had a big arc light, big one, which had carbon in it, and they would light the carbon, and that's how they communicated from ship to ship. And I, living on that base, we had to keep it clean. So we'd take the carbon out, and I'd wipe it. And I'd look, and this big concave mirror was me. And I looked so handsome. I loved it. I just would stop and give it all my looks. And that convinced me to get into movies. See, little
you
things
were.
like that.
You had a remarkably handsome physiognomy or whatever they call it. But, you know, being back then, and Tony's over because he has a book out. It's a fabulous read. Yes. It's called Tony Curtis, American Prince.
Yes.
And this is, you're saying, this is the definitive story of your life. This is the telling that you would hope to leave for all of us to enjoy. And you do talk about being attractive as a youngster, because growing up, you grew up in a fairly rough part of...
Very rough.
I'm fascinated at how you made that leap, because many of us have sat there watching movies and think, wouldn't it be great to be in the movies? But there you are, I guess, in the 30s, the late 30s, before the war, of course, you're watching the big screen, thinking about acting, and then only a short period after the war, you're up there, you're working with these people.
Yes.
That's quite something. It wasn't just your looks that got you there, of course, even though you were a startlingly handsome youngster. It was talent as well, and it was ambition, I guess. You knew you wanted to do that, and
well, there was an energy in me that wanted it so badly. And combined with my looks, it was a perfect venture for me. You know, I always felt I was going to make it.
But you knew you were good-looking, of course, and I guess that helped you get confidence.
In that kind of an environment, at that kind of a terrible period of time, I was a good-looking kid.
Real good-looking guy. Yeah.
And it made me feel good. All the girls looked at me, and I looked back.
Because you've always had a love of women, of course, haven't you?
Well, women are my life. I love women. I love talking to them. I love the way they behave. Us scruffy men. Look at her coming down the street. You know, we don't... I stay out of that kind of group.
But, of course, you're a very happily married man now, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And you've been married a few times before, but this one is like the real deal and the best one, I think.
We've been married 15 years now.
Congratulations. That is quite something.
Hey, thank you.
Knowing your love of ladies' company.
15 years. I was getting married every 3 years. As soon as the guarantee was over.
In your book, you tell how the night you met your wife. Would you tell us that story? Because it's a fabulous story.
There was a restaurant in L.A. called Nicky Blair's, and it was on Sunset Boulevard on the main street. And he was a good friend of mine, and I was in there a lot having dinner. I'd go in by myself. And I went in by myself one night. I'm sitting at the end of the restaurant, and I look. There's this incredible-looking girl in a white blouse with black spots all over it. And I walked out just so I'd get another look at her face. And then I turned around and walked back. I said, that's for me. But how am I going to do it? She's sitting with a guy.
So she was on a
don't
date.
stop me. I get up again, and I didn't even think about it. And I went right to him. I says, Harry, how have you been? How's the wife and the kids? I heard you were having trouble and she's chasing you. Oh. But he says, I'm not Harry. I'm Morse. Oh, excuse me, I've made a mistake. And I looked at Jill, and I gave her the full power of my I just ground it out. I said, hello. My name's Tony. What is yours?
She can't resist.
Yeah, I didn't have to do more, so I disconnected the battery. And she gave me a number. I said to him, excuse me, but I'm going to be going down to San Diego next week. Do you mind if I ask, what was your name again? She said, Jill. I said, ask Jill for a telephone number that I could call her and let her know I'm coming down. I hope you don't mind. What is he going to do? Not? He said, sure, go ahead, do it.
Oh, you're Tony Curtis. Of course he's going to say yes.
And I got the number of Jilly's, and I didn't go to San Diego. I waited until she came back to L.A. I've had a wonderful time with her.